Hey everyone, my name is Rooster and welcome back to Mechabellum. Today's video I'll be facing off against one of the strongest players in the game at the moment. In fact, Shark Hunter, my opponent, is going to be a finalist in the current MAG1 tournament season. He'll be facing off against Fairy this Saturday, so if you are interested in watching that content, the link to where you will be able to watch that will be down below in the description. And well, let's get to it. Do I have a chance against someone of this caliber? I'll be picking a Sledgehammer Arclight pack here with the Fortified Specialist because I know that this guy really likes to play aggro, and when I know that my opponent wants to play aggro, I really don't mind defending. In fact, I think those are some of the most fun games that you can play where one of the two is defending and the other one is playing offensively. So yeah, this pack I really do like for that. Sledgehammers, just all around good matchups and good stalling potential. Against any push, you will often want them on your board, no matter what you're facing, whether that's like steel balls or sabers, you know, wraith. Sledges tend to do really well. So going to go in the middle here. Arclights are going to be in the middle as well. We have 3 of those, and the matchup is not too bad. I mean, the one problem I might have is that I don't have access to great DPS here against these enemy sabers, but apart from that, I think I've got almost everything I need. Now, I could go for Void Eyes here if I really want DPS, and that might give me a chance at winning, but I really was thinking, well, if I go Void Eye, I might have DPS, but I won't have Chaff, and I won't have Anti-Air. This way, I get Chaff on round 1, and then round 2, I can grab something like a Phoenix, immediately have the DPS, and also have the Anti-Air for future rounds. So, let's see how this goes. Crawlers here on the right doing well. Sledgehammers at least are going to move towards his army. He went pretty wide so as to protect this tower from going down on round 1, but that also means that my units will be moving over. So it looks like we're not going to get debuffed. That's very nice. Question is, do we have enough here to take down this Sabertooth? It just managed to kill an Arclight and splash a Sledgehammer, and oh my days, what is that? I mean, you can't even see the hit point bar there. Oof. Insta level on the Sabertooth. Not exactly what you want to see, but, you know, sometimes that will happen, but definitely a bit scary. Sabers are incredibly hard to take down when they level this early. Laser Sight here shows up on round 2. Other options, not really that valuable. I do like extended range Sledgehammer, but maybe not so much in defense. And while I do like improved Overlord, I'm not an aerial specialist, and it's going to take me way too long to set that up. So let's just grab Laser Sight and go for the logical play here, which is to buy a Phoenix. And well, yeah, look at that. You know, it's a high MMR game when round 2 both players pick up a Phoenix. It's a bit of a classic, you know. We really do love our mecha birds. So yeah, same play here. Well, let's not speed that up too much. And I just pick up another crawler in the middle. Opponent goes for a hound on his other tower. That's to defend a potential like crawler cheese, which is relatively common from the defending player. Try to attack that open tower from the aggressor. So we didn't go for it. I felt like he might do something like this, and I still needed to kind of reinforce my main board because at the end of the day, we did lose the first round. This time around, though, much better. He luckily did not have the money to go for this play, right? Double deployment and pick an item and level that Saber. So, thankfully, we don't have to deal with that level 2 Saber immediately. Now, round number 3, nothing amazing shows up. I mean, maybe you could take Efficient Giant Manufacturing, but I'm not a Giant spec or an Aerial spec, and really, I didn't see what Giant I would want to buy. Maybe there's something to be said for mass-produced Scorpion, but I feel like Sabers are meant to win against Scorpions. I know sometimes Scorpions can do well if they manage to get some early levels, but I felt pretty confident about my setup here. Right, Sledgehammer, Arc, Phoenix for now seems that it should be able to do the job. So this should just be a skip. I'm not exactly sure what I was thinking about here. Probably just talking to chat or something along those lines. We can have a look at what my opponent does. He skips. He is a speed specialist, by the way. I didn't hover that, but yeah. Speedy Sabers and Hounds, very scary pack. Probably one of the better openers you can get. Immediate round 3 range on those Hounds. And we see a flank coming in from the Hounds as well with a Crawler in front. And that's pretty much going to be the round done for Shark Hunter. Now, I don't want anything specific here, except maybe more chaff and perhaps range on my arc lights. I accidentally didn't use my laser sight last round. I think I found out, so we're gonna do that. A bit delayed, but you know, it didn't hurt us. We still won the round regardless. And yeah, here we go. Range on the arc lights. Nice thing is going to be that with the laser sight, the base Phoenix is now sitting at 140, so it still does outrange the arc lights, which normally it wouldn't. And yeah, very happy with this arc light. Very common kind of setup defense here. You've got 3 arc lights shooting forward, and then often you will have kind of 2 arc lights offset on the tower height. That way they can turn and deal with any flanks if they show up. And then second of all, they'll arrive a little bit later, so you've got that staggered attack, right? So if one of your arc lights accidentally gets stuck on a saber, for instance, the lay one at least might be able to flank and deal with the chaff that's trickling through. And yeah, again here, very solid round. Both of us matched the range, and for now it seems like my arc lights, with the help of the sledges as frontline, are going to be plenty to deal with those hounds. So very, very good start to the game here. Opponent's already down to 3k. We get unit reinforcements on round 4. Now, opponent picks up Scorpion, and I was kind of expecting that, to be honest, because I already have sledgehammers, steel balls are offered. It just is a pretty solid thing to pick. And so I decided to go for the Stormcallers here because they're good against, you know, the bigger targets. They're good against sabers. They're honestly not too bad against hounds. And if he does end up picking something like Scorpion, then having the storms available is nice. In the off chance that he picks Stormcaller as well, we have the mirror. So, you know, that would be neutral. And now I decide to use the oil. Very important that you try and use Sticky Oil Bomb when you're defending. It is such a powerful spell. And yeah, the 2-round slow will often yield you very good results. And here you get kind of the double whammy of getting triple Stormcaller and then being able to slow down the enemy forces, which is something Stormcallers absolutely love. So lots and lots of DPS being added here. I'm leveling the right side tower because I'm a bit afraid that he might try and push. And instead we're going to reinforce even more. So a Wasp here on the flank to deal with the hounds and the crawlers. That's my favorite type of defense against this type of flank, which is very common. Sledgehammer here, going to kind of screen for the arc lights as well as for my storms. And yeah, Stormcaller just going to be set up in such a way that they can shoot at the units that were on the enemy board. Nasty missile there though, right side. Sadly, I kind of need a crawler there in front. But it does look like we're still doing okay. At least this middle arc light is helping out. Flank has been dealt with. He tried to put a Phoenix there, but luckily we had the Wasps to help out. And this tower is leveled, so it should be able to kind of survive a few shots at the very least. Left side is doing okay. Wasps are coming in. We just need to kill these Phoenixes, and then we should be able to just take a round win. We'll manage to do that. The tower goes down, but doesn't matter anymore, as we should be able to win this. Now, of course, we're not going to have that much left alive. In fact, the only thing that'll be alive is 1 Phoenix and half a pack of Wasps. So, perhaps not quite what I was hoping for, because I did use oil, and I felt like, you know, the Stormcaller was a very good counter into what my opponent ended up picking. But, well, we lost a big portion of our army, and we did get debuffed there. Round number 5, additional deployment slot, immediately picked up by my opponent. And now I'm thinking, is that something I want? I mean, it is a very good card. Alternatively, I could pick something like the improved firepower control system and start building some Phoenixes. I definitely have to start thinking about my anti-air, and I mean, Phoenix is another great counter to something like Scorpion. It really is kind of the only thing that I'm missing here. I mean, I want some chaff in front, of course, to try and prevent another missile from happening. Maybe another arc light could be helpful, but aside from that, Phoenixes do look very good here. Going to go for AP on the Stormcallers, since I now have the confirmation that my opponent went for a Scorpion. And opponent goes for Mech Rage Hound pretty early, to be honest, but it should allow him to chaff clear a lot faster. And for now, we did a really good job of kind of keeping the Hounds honest and low level, which is a nice thing, because Hounds are very annoying to kill. If you can kind of take a look at how the Arclights are engaging with the Hounds, it takes a long time to get through an entire pack of them. So yeah, Crawler here in front, more Phoenixes picked up. We do go for the additional deployment slot. I level my Wasps because for now I didn't have an answer to them. And while leveling them will let them deal with the flank all the much quicker. Another crawler here on the left side. And another arclight, as I said, all the way on the right to try and engage with these guys. Opponent now goes double wasp. We saw him buy a Mustang very briefly, but then he decides to go for the air fight instead. So ultra late wasp will defend his flanks and at the same time will perhaps be able to deal with my wasps. He does have one more pack, but I have 2 phoenixes and I have a level advantage. So it'll kind of just come down to who wins the ground war first. You can see here kind of the arclights as it will start to engage with the hounds. Okay, I say that actually the stormcallers are the one taking them down quicker, but maybe right side we can have a look at it. 1, 2, 3 shots at equal level, and oftentimes he won't even be splashing. So look at how long it takes to get through a pack of 5 units, which, you know, kind of can be chaff in a way. Looks like we'll still be fine though. Left side winning. Stormcallers taking down that Scorpion. And the Phoenixes should be able to clear up these Wasps. So another good turn here. We're not doing the most damage with every single win, but slowly but steadily we've managed to whittle down our opponent to 1700 hit points. And now round 6, we have another unit drop. Now I immediately know what my opponent is going to pick here, which is going to be the sandworm. The reason for that is if I look at my board, there is nothing on the board that will deal with the level 2 sandworm, right? Stormcallers are long-range units, and the sandworm is very good at kind of closing the distance. I do have some phoenixes, but they're low level. The sledgehammers won't do a thing. The arclights will get stuck. This is a very tanky unit, and currently I have no response to it, so it would be a logical choice for my opponent to go for. The issue is none of the units offered deal with a sandworm. There is a Raiden, but it's not meant to deal with a big giant like that. It's more so meant to deal with, you know, sledgehammers and steel balls. So I'm more so thinking here about how am I going to deal with the sandworm. The other things are not that scary to me. I decided to pick up the Vulcan because it sells for the most. And I might be able to just use it for 1 turn. Or perhaps buy it back next round as my my oil come back. Or in 2 rounds, I guess. Probably will just end up selling this. And instead I'm going to preemptively buy some sabers to try and deal with the sandworm wherever it may show up. And yeah, you can see me here. I also start selling out of my sledgehammers because, well, they're just getting insta one-shots by the scorpions. And we're going to go triple saber, elite recruited with double shot here. And also buy another wasp on the right side to try and contest his wasp. Now, the annoying bit is, I was somewhat expecting him to go more wasps in range, but I don't have the deployments here to deal with the enemy wasp. I guess I could have maybe taken the fangs and ranged them, although that is a little bit odd, but that could have been a play. Instead, I just used the money here to try and grab some solid DPS, and look at that. Saber's also doing quite well into those scorpions. Sadly, though, I misjudged where the scorpion or the sandworm would show up. And so I kind of overstacked the sabers on the left side, and that means the sandworm still gets to survive, takes down my tower. And it's going to be a very close round after all. We do get the tower debuff here, and we managed to take down the sandworm. So I think with the level 2 wasp, we should still be able to win, but yet again, it's a very close affair. But I'm happy because now my opponent is down to 800 hit points, and honestly, that was a scary round, considering that the unit drop didn't give me all that much. And I knew that, you know, my opponent would get something relatively scary. Laser sight shows up once more. We do pick it up. And I decide to go for range AA wasps to contest my opponent's wasp. I was debating for a bit whether I wanted to go for Mustangs, because I do have some good items for them, but buying Mustangs and double teching them would be relatively expensive. And I do have a level advantage here on the left, and even on the right we're doing okay. Plus I already had the wasp deployments too. So I just decide to, you know, say I might be able to win the ground war here and kind of trade against your wasps. And so that's the option I went for, right? I get to use my deployments as well, whereas I would have only been able to maybe buy 3 Mustangs at best. And we do add another saber. It's level 1 though, so it kind of gets stuck here on the sandworm. Mech division has now been picked up. Saber trying to do what it can. Sandworm almost going down, but not quite. Seems like, again, left side is doing just fine. High-level wasps winning out against his wasp. And I was still running my carry wasp bar, as opposed to the more utility-based setup here from my opponent. So I knew that in a wasp war, I should be able to win out. Still, though, that sandworm is causing me real trouble. And I'm starting to think, do I really need to buy something like a war factory here to combat the enemy? Round number 8, Fortress shows up. I just decided to sell. I guess I could have kept it too. And gone Fortress AA. But I believe I wanted to go for a war factory here to try and deal with the enemy worm. Could also be a mountain. And now opponent taking his time. Other options, I mean, maybe there's something to be said again for ranged fangs with the high levels, but not amazing. Opponent picks up the fortress as well. And picks up more, so that will signal fortress anti-air, most likely. I decide to rebuy a Vulcan here. And use my oil as its back off cooldown. Set that enemy board on fire. I was a little bit afraid of loose formation because my opponent has a ton of crawlers, and currently my chaff clear is only going to be arc lights. So I think loose formation could have done a whole lot for him. But luckily he runs out, or well, luckily he still goes Fort AA, so we'll have to see if we can somehow dodge the missiles and beat the enemy fortresses. I also go range on my sabers, hopefully giving them a bit of a better matchup against the existing scorpions and the sandworm. And then on top of that, they should do alright against these fortresses. But yeah, let's see. Vulcan will light the fire, so left side chaff should go down pretty quickly. And that means that we also have a much better matchup against these enemy wasps on the left. Fort AA, though, is going to hurt quite a bit. But thankfully, this saber on the left is doing an amazing job against the enemy fortress. It does go down, but with its dying breath, it does take down a level 2 scorpion. And now it just comes down to that right side. Every single time, this sandworm just refuses to die. And there's a level 2 fortress over there as well, so I don't think we'll have the DPS required. If we can take down the fortress, though, I'll be quite happy. AP Storms, of course, still quite powerful. And, okay, it looks like we will be able to win after all. A couple of wasps survive. It's a marginal win, but at least we managed to prevent taking more damage. And again, I mean, it's the story of this game. We do seem to be winning, but it's very slow, right? The rounds are ultra close, and it feels like it could go wrong at any point. Nano Repair Kit here shows up, a little bit scary perhaps for that sandworm. I decided to pick up the photon coating. And now I'm thinking, okay, we need to probably go into Titans, because I didn't go for Giants myself, and I just cannot seem to kill this sandworm as hard as I try. Last round I had to buy that Vulcan. We now sell it, and we have 1800 resources available, so that should be perfect for a level 2 Titan. And then it's, you know, do I want to buy the factory, excuse me, or do I want to buy a mountain? First off, I go for a factory. The idea would be that I put the Titan in this corner and kind of try to push in as I kill the big fortress and the bigger sandworm. And then I'm thinking, well, if it's about like raw DPS, then mountain is stronger than factory, because all the guns are forward facing. So if we can just lock on immediately, this should be more powerful. And then on top of that, we could also go for something like the mountain plating and make it even tankier than it already is. Whereas on the War Factory, I probably would pick something like Overload to kind of get to the same amount of DPS as a mountain. So now we get the tankiness and we get the DPS. Mountain here on the right side, Crawler in front. This should have been a level 1, but I didn't have time to undo and buy a level 1. And then we just beacon into tower. Now let's see. It is a nano sandworm level 3. Quite scary. Mountain for now gonna get stuck on some chaff, but hopefully the arc lights should be able to clean things up. One gun has managed to find that fortress, so that will go down. That's very nice. Is the left side doing okay? We kind of need this saber to help out. One of them got taken out immediately from the looks of things, but now look at that. DPS through the roof. Level 3 sandworm going to just get deleted immediately. And, well, yeah, the right side not really looking like it'll be able to do too much. The saber also doing a fantastic job still, as it's managed to take out all of the bigger targets, and it looks like we've managed to take out all of my opponent's anti-air. And with a couple of wasps remaining, should be able to take those out, and that was a very clean defense, as we managed to take down one of the strongest players in the game. I was very happy with this. I am nowhere near consistent enough to pull this off every time, but it seemed like the day that this happened, I was playing relatively well. But yeah, just a pretty kind of standard defensive game, I would say, right? The arc light setup here is something that you can probably copy paste in almost all of your games. 3 in the middle, kind of 2 on the side here. You can see that they are basically on tower height. I like putting them 1 square kind of further back. That way they can move forward, but they can also deal with the flank if it shows up. Wasps to cover these kind of hound flanks. Very, very common. And then, yeah, just kind of try and find or like play what you find from the unit drops, right? So like Stormcallers in this scenario, very good. Sabers can be nice. Early Phoenixes, a staple. And yeah, plenty of chaff to boot should get you there. If you like this video, please leave a thumbs up. Let me know down below what you thought of it. And again, if you are interested in seeing some of the best players from 201 in the finals on Saturday, be sure to check out MAG1. We'll often be casting there. So yeah, lots and lots of fun if you like that type of a competitive scene. With that being said, take care, guys, and see you in the next video. Bye-bye.